Snowfall is expected to bring treacherous conditions across the UK today, with one major motorway brought to a standstill overnight.
Yes, amber weather warnings remain in place across parts of England, North Wales until this afternoon. With 50-mile-an-hour winds and 40 centimetres of snow expected, there are warnings of significant disruption. Simon Jones has the details.
So these are the current scenes on the M62 towards Saddleworth. No signs as to when we're actually going to get off here.
This is not where you'd want to be in the early hours on a freezing cold night. Stuck on the M62 in Greater Manchester, people were warned to prepare for treacherous conditions, and the forecasters weren't wrong.
Been stuck here now for 3 hours coming from Manchester, and it doesn't seem like these situations get any easier. We've had gritters and police come up to try help, but we're at a standstill again.
You can hear the wind whipping up. In Wakefield overnight, the snow has been continuing to fall, adding to what's already lying on the ground. We may be in meteorological spring, but in places it's been looking and feeling more like midwinter. The worst affected areas could now see up to 40 centimetres of snow, accompanied by winds of 50 miles an hour, leading to blizzard conditions and significant disruption. Much of the UK remains under yellow weather warnings for snow, ice or strong winds, with roads and railways likely to be affected. But overnight, 3 areas were under the more severe amber warnings, with the possibility of power cuts and rural communities getting cut off. In Northern Ireland, affected by those warnings, actually getting into your car might prove tricky. While in Oldham, the gritters have been out in force.
We've been out gritting since midnight. As well as that, we will be over the next 24 hours. This is what we plan for day to day. But yes, it puts a huge resource and a huge stress on staffing levels and day-to-day management.
Rail passengers are being told to check before they set off. Great Northern and Merseyrail warning of problems. Nearly 300 schools were closed across Wales because the school grounds were too icy or staff couldn't get in. Many across the UK are expected to shut again today. Not that the children were complaining.
Amazing! Unbelievable!
Sledging too in Shetland. One farmer was feeding his sheep when he spotted a rare snow tornado. But for those who've had enough of a night in the snow, the big thaw may not come for several more days. Simon Jones, BBC News.
Well, the Pennines are expected to be one of the worst affected areas today. Our reporter Mairead Smith is on the M62 in West Yorkshire this morning. The M62, Mairead, good morning to you. I can see it's very cold, it's still raining. Looks like the road is moving, or traffic is moving on the road now, at least.
Yes, the traffic is moving quite well, actually. A lot of trucks. These people have places to get to, things to move across the country. But the snow has come down all night. It started here yesterday afternoon and it hasn't stopped since. I got stuck in the car park this morning. I spoke to some people who were stranded overnight. They'd been to a concert in Manchester and they were trying to get home. They thought across the M62, but were taken on the A roads and they ended up being rescued by Mountain Rescue. They turned up in jeeps to try and rescue people in 4 or 5 cars. I spoke to another guy, Sam. He'd been to the Leeds Man United game. Football is everything. He didn't want to miss that match, but he ended up stranded and has spent the night on an armchair in a hotel. The snow is set to come down. That amber warning was in place for a reason, and that is because we were expecting these heavy snowfalls right across the Pennines, and it's like this in other parts of the country as well.